Today we're going to talk about how to get your aim very straight with pretty much every weapon, especially in a game like Call of Duty that doesn't have a ton of recoil. You want to be able to master it because everyone in the game is going to be able to shoot straight. On top of that, if you're playing on a controller, you get this little thing called aim assist, which literally helps you to stay on target if you're using it correctly. Sometimes people go out of their way to make themselves miss shots, and we're going to go ahead and try and prevent that here today. One of the most important parts when you're getting started is to make sure you get your controller sensitivity dialed in. If you're playing multiplayer, you do have access to private match, and what you could do is maybe start off at a higher sensitivity if you're really new to the game, maybe like a 7 or an 8, start there, and then slowly work your way down and fine-tuning exactly where you want it to be, because there's a lot of different things that are going to be important. Flicking from one target to another, tracking a target as they're moving. These things are pretty important when you're trying to stay on target and be able to hit shots, predict it, try to get the first shot on top of centering. There's all these little nuanced things to make sure that you're doing things the right way. And what you can notice is when you move around, how much control you have over your target. So for me, I normally, like I showed right there, I play on a 6.6. In this particular case, this is a little bit fast for me. So what ends up happening is I come around to the corner, I'm flicking from one target to the next, I might actually overshoot it. You can see I end up hitting the left of the wall because I'm used to aiming here with my 6. So be like, maybe that's a little bit too fast. And what you do is you just go in, you slowly adjust it, and you fine tune it. And then I'm going to go ahead and go down to 6. And with 6, you can see I'm going to be way more accurate so that I'm essentially centered on the door. Center mass, basically trying to shoot the chest so that when I aim down sight, I'd be good to go. Find a sensitivity where you could switch from here to here and pretty much be very accurate. Not overshooting, not undershooting. I'm trying to demonstrate undershooting, right? You want to be able to go from here to there. And back, and there, and back, and there, and back, and there. With aim assist, it will help you to stay on a target. If you need to be there when you're aiming, you'll be able to drag across. So I would recommend playing with your sensitivity there. And what happens is your sensitivity when flicking is a lot reactive. So if I need to go from here to here, I need to be able to have control of it. If it's too fast, I'm going to overshoot. Like I said, if it's too low, you're going to be able to undershoot. We'll give you some different steps you can go through to actually modify this in game when you're practicing with bots. Tracking. If your sensitivity is too slow, you're going to be sitting behind the aim assist bubble. It won't actually let you track. Hexmith has some pretty good videos about aim assist if you want like a full breakdown of how that works. But so typically I don't recommend going under 4. Like 4 is probably the lowest, and maybe you would have some trouble tracking certain players in the sky if they're coming towards you at an angle. It could be a little bit hard. So that's kind of where you would start. Get that dialed in and make sure that you feel comfortable when you put your crosshairs, they go exactly where you want, and adjust your aim to where you want it to go. Not overshoot, not undershoot, just literally in control of where it's going to be. And that is, like I said, the first part to be as accurate as possible. Centering's a huge thing. My crosshair is pretty low. I sometimes have a bad habit when I play Battle Royale because you have to stare at the ground to loot. Obviously, multiplayer is not a Battle Royale, so you don't have to worry about that. You can keep your crosshairs generally at stomach to chest level, somewhere around there, so that when you shoot, if you get flinch, you'll get flinched into a headshot, and then all your shots will be very accurate on the headshot. So that is one way you want to do it. So if I'm keeping here, where's likely people going to be? I'm going to check the window, check the area, check the lane, check down low. Someone's on the heady, someone's back there, someone's back there. You can go ahead and kind of keep your crosshairs so that you're ready for a gunfight. Because if I'm on the ground and then I come around the corner and the person's behind these tables, I have to go, oop, oop. And in that time, I've already lost the gunfight because that person's pre-aiming it. So if I come through and I slide and I'm into it, I can actually aim exactly where I think it'll be, and you're good to go. And that is another part where centering is pretty important. It can be a little bit more nuanced than that, but in general, you kind of just want to lock it in. Look at that, keep Verdansk terminal in there. The other thing is crack aim. This is something that a lot of pro players use. Let's say I'm holding this angle. I don't know if somebody's going to come from the left. I don't know if someone's going to come from the right. Typically, I'm not going to be in the hip fire waiting like this. Ooh, which way are they coming? Which way are they coming? I'm going to be aimed down sight. But the problem is then I'm slow in transition. Obviously, the gap could be a little bit bigger. This is just a quick example to show. So a lot of times what you can do is you can do like where you're halfway aiming down sight. And because you're doing that, your aim is already like moving a little bit faster. So you'll be able to adjust. And that's what they typically call like a crack aim. I mean, it's a made up term by pro players, so I guess that's what it is. And if the target comes through, I can just, and then on target. So it works out really well. And it really comes down to practicing and finding that sweet spot. Everyone's going to be a little bit different when you get it started. It's just because your friend plays on a 10 and the aim is all wild. Cool, you don't have to play on a 10. You can literally play. This is the recoil without adjusting for anything. Not a ton of recoil, but knowing that it's basically just vertical, I'll be able to just hold the recoil pattern and shoot non-existent. So once we got the sensitivity dialed in, there's another thing called predictive recoil. Like we just demonstrated here, this recoil pattern will go vertical. Maybe there's going to be some variance on occasion from time to time. They're not going to be exactly the same, but in general, we know that we need to pull down. And I'm going to demonstrate this part, and this is one of the most fundamental parts that people that are pretty good at the game do instinctively. They don't need like a special thinking, oh, I need to lock it in to do this. No. You're going to go ahead and go in here. Since it goes vertical at a consistent rate, all you need to do is pull down at a fixed distance. So in this particular case, if I'm controlling the recoil, I'd only probably hold it right here. And literally, I just sit it there. And if I want to shoot left to track a target while I'm firing, I just go like this. And you can see I'm still staying in that vertical. I'm still in the negative y-axis that you can see there. I'm going negative, let's say 35 for my sensitivity. And that's as far as I'll pull down. And the gun will just shoot in the same spot. That's what most good players will do. If the target's moving from left to right, I will have to adjust it and move to the right and keep it at that 33 distance or whatever. And if I go to the left, I'll go ahead and keep it over there. And essentially what you're doing is you're moving this red dot where your gun's not moving, and then you start firing, and now you have this imaginary red dot that's down here that you're trying to keep the R in, and then as soon as you need to track the target, you just move left and right. And then you just track with aim assist. So that new 0 is probably one of the most important parts. And this is literally what I'm doing when I'm here is I'm pulling it down, maybe not as much as 33. That was more an exaggeration for explaining purposes, but literally I can do that. And then when I need to track a target, I can literally pull down and I can track there and I can track across. And with aim assist, obviously, it will help you to lock on. Quick little reminder, if you enjoy the content, hit the like button. If you want to find your way back, subscribe with notifications on. Let's get back into it. The other part is we'll make sure that you have the right aim assist setting. This is a part where a lot of people struggle with because there's differing opinions, and that's okay. Some stuff is preference, but it's pretty much down to a couple options. Aim response curve, that's really kind of whatever you get used to. Anyone can be accurate on any of these. There's not really like a, ooh, you're using standard? Oh my God, you're gonna be trash. No, that's not how it works. Use whichever one you're comfortable with. I prefer dynamic. A lot of people have made the switch to dynamic, seem to prefer it. But if you prefer linear and you shoot straight with linear, that's cool too. Where it gets a little bit confusing for people is the aim assist type. I go with Black Ops. Ever since I tested it and it felt like it was like 1% better, I've said, boom, even if it's placebo, it's better. But reality is you can really use either default or Black Ops. Those are pretty much your only two choices when it comes to those. Precision and focusing will not give you rotational aim assist and therefore will not be helping you within gunfight to gunfight. It will only help you when you ADS and you move your crosshairs, not when you strafe. When strafing is the most important part. So what you need to do in every gunfight is now we're aiming, we're adjusting, but instead of aiming and tracking with your right, you can actually track with your left because of rotational aim assist. So if I go there, I can strafe and you can see it goes pretty much in a straight line. And that's pretty much what you're doing when you're controlling recoil. You can strafe and make micro adjustments because for me to do this, it's a little bit harder than it is for me to just shoot and then strafe over. A hair, and then aim assist is helping with that rotational, and your it's so good. And really what aim assist is doing is as soon as you enter, let's say this doorway is the aim assist bubble. As soon as you enter that bubble, your sensitivity goes from like a 6.8 down to like a 4.8. So now it's like slower, and then as soon as you come out, it goes out. And that's really what it is. And you're trying to get into the bubble. And once you're in, the sensitivity is going to help you out quite a bit. Strafing, aim assist, centering, recoil control, recentering to 0. you basically do everything together and it really kind of helps you out. I really do believe this is probably one of the most important things to get set up on, to get your comfort level dialed in before you even go into full public matches, because typically when you go into full public matches, it's a little bit hard to adjust on the fly. So I would load up a private match. It is kind of hidden away in the menu, so I'll show you exactly where it is. You have to scroll down from this menu, scroll all the way to the right to private match. So then you go to game setup, you set it up for free for all. Pretty straightforward there, so that you can just run around, kill bots, they'll kill each other, and they're not all aggro to you. And then you can go ahead and go to the time limit. I recommend doing this for as long as you need. You can put the points to pretty high. So if you want to play for a long period of time, you definitely can. And then go in there and you can even up the points on health. So you just get in the comfort level of being accurate for a sustained period of time. Especially some people with 150 health tend to struggle. They'll say the TTK is too long. Part of that is just you missing shots. So we can go ahead and dial that in, get unlimited health. You can actually do a very fast health regeneration so that you're able to get in and out really quick out of gunfights and not feel like, ooh, I need to wait for health regen. Because that's not the point of this. It's more shots on targets and how many shots you can get on target. So the team section, you go in and go to radar always on, and we put directional. You just press left on the D-pad, that'll get you directional, and that'll make it so that it looks like an advanced UAV the entire time. Gameplay, you can go ahead and go in here as well and do spawn mags, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about running scavenger perk or whatever. You just put that to max and then you're pretty much good to go. Then you have to tab over to this lobby section, the first plus sign, click on that one, and then you can go ahead and set up the number of bots. You can go ahead and put those to 10, 12, somewhere in there. It really depends on your map, and then you just confirm it. All the enemies you can see are on the mini map. So if I wanted to come over here, I'm focusing on my centering, make sure I hit the target, get the headshots in the mix, we get a reload in, we're able to track that target. Obviously, I'm very comfortable with this sensitivity. So let me know if you find this helpful. Appreciate all the support in the content. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.